What's up, gang? I honestly just wanted to blabber a little bit with like minimal editing. So let's talk about the new Superman movie. Yes, I'm very late, but I covered what my thoughts before the movie came out, and then now I'm covering them after. It's almost a month after the movie has came out. I have let my feelings settle in. I am just chilling. We're all good. I don't have to think about nothing. I already know how I feel about the movie. Basically, I was on the hype train. Right? I was about as high as you can get on the hype train. I love James Gunn. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 kind of got me into film. I'm in the process of writing a show now. So it's been a good while that I've been solely into film as a hobby. Basically because of James Gunn. I always liked film, always liked everything like that. But he was a really big inspiration, like a huge one. So when I heard that he was doing Superman, I'm like, there's nothing more perfect, because I hated Man of Steel. I was a little kid. I'm sorry if you like Man of Steel. When I was a little kid, I was like, I watched Superman in the cartoons. I watched Superman in the animated series, stuff like that. I love Superman. I watched Justice League Unlimited, all those. I thought he was so cool. And then I watched Man of Steel. Something on my brain switched. I was like, Superman sucks. This is the most boring, uninteresting character. He's like violent all of a sudden. I don't remember Superman being violent. This is lame. But so I just kind of like that happened. I disliked Man of Steel so much that it made me not like Superman. And as I grew up a little bit, throughout the next few years, I started to like him again. I was like, oh, okay, Superman doesn't suck. That's just a bad movie. And once I learned once I kind of detached myself from being like, oh, movies aren't the definitive versions of characters, that's when I was like, okay, yeah, Superman's cool. It took me a minute. When I was a little kid, I couldn't quite distinguish those things. But safe to say, when I heard that James Gunn, the most comic accurate dude to ever make comic book films, like his films just feel like a comic book. There's not anybody else that I've ever seen create a movie that just feels like a comic book, except, ironically, Zack Snyder's Watchmen. For anybody just casually watching, it's ironic because Zack Snyder, the guy who I just mentioned who made Watchmen, also made Man of Steel, which sucks. So that was my point. If most of you know that. But that one's not really in a good way. It's an okay movie, but it's literally copying the comic book. There's not any creativity. He's like basically copying the shots and everything from the comic book. It's pretty hard to fuck that up when you're literally copying something. But James Gunn having original ideas and original stories while also still feeling like a comic book is really cool. So when I heard about him making Superman, I was on board, like more on board than you can imagine. I literally was like, there's nobody who could create a Superman movie better. So imagine my disappointment. No, I'm just kidding. The movie fucking slapped. It was so good, like unrelentingly good. I could not get a smile off my face. I went in there. I literally had to go to a different town because I shit you not, 2 months before the movie comes out, the local theater shuts down in my town. The only local theater, and we live on an island, so I can't just drive. So we ended up figuring out how to get free airplane tickets to go and watch this movie. It was a super fun trip. We made like a whole like day trip out of it. It was really awesome. But I feel very fortunate that we were able to work that out. But I'm watching this movie. I'm sitting there. And the movie, it's like James Gunn has always felt comic booky. The Suicide Squad, the one that he did, insanely comic booky. And when I watched that, I was like, whoa, you really can make a movie feel like a comic book. Superman is 10 times that. Like, literally 10 times. I don't know how he does it. He just has the eye for it. The camera angles he uses, the colors, just the characters in general, the set design, everything. He goes all out in Superman. If you enjoy film at all, I heard people saying that the movie didn't look good visually. I don't know if we watched the same movie. I thought that movie looked incredible. It's not all contrasty and dark and like mysterious, but what it's going for, that comic book, that is one of the most visually innovative movies I've ever seen personally. If you're talking about what it's trying to accomplish visually, it's insane, and it still looks really good. I genuinely don't know how people think that movie looks bad. That is probably my favorite movie now. It's that good. And I've thought about it for a month, non-stop thinking about it. And obviously, if you're watching this, you've probably seen the movie, so I will be getting into spoilers. Here's your spoiler warning. The freaking whole theme of the movie is that kindness is punk rock. In a world of people being dicks and selfish, the most punk rock thing you can do is be kind. That's so cool. That is so cool. Why are more movies not about that? Like, Fantastic Four is about family. Just like most movies, at least most superhero movies. Superman's theme is that kindness is punk rock. I don't know why there isn't more movies like that. Like, I guess Scott Pilgrim kind of has that vibe. Ironically, Scott Pilgrim is probably the other movie that feels exactly like a comic book. That is true. I love that movie too. That's a good one. I can't believe that one slipped my mind. That is a very good movie. But holy my word bejeebus, I just loved everything. Obviously, David Cornsweet, incredible casting. Like, I cannot stress that enough. He is so true to the character, and he adds a little bit more of like a playful twist on the character, just a little bit, to where it's like, yes, that is Superman, but he's just a little bit more fun, a little bit more coy. Superman usually is like just a little bit more stoic, like especially in Justice League Unlimited, which to be fair is when he's older. But in this one, he is more playful, but that's also the tone of the movie. And I know James Gunn is more of he likes to direct rated R movies. He just enjoys doing that, but it's a Superman movie and you have to make it for everybody, especially after the other one was exactly the opposite. So I understand why it was a little bit more playful and everything. But man, I just there really isn't any negatives I have about the movie. I've heard plenty of negatives about the movie that I'm like, yeah, I could see that. I just didn't feel it. Like, watching that movie, it was just made for me. Like, and I was going into it, I knew what I was going to think about the movie, basically, because when you have a director that's made like 7, I think, what was it, I think this is like his 7th, Superman is like his 7th comic book project in a row that is insanely good, high rated, everything, and I personally enjoyed. So when you're making the 7th one, I'm not going to be like, oh, I wonder if I'm going to like this one. It's like, I know I'm going to like this one, especially with the early reviews, especially with how confident everyone is about the movie. I'm not going to magically dislike it. It's just not realistic. So I went in with very high expectations. I came out still blown away, because that movie was perfection to me. Not as in like the writing was the most perfect thing you ever seen. If I wasn't so blinded by how much I appreciate the character work, the set design, the sound design, every little thing, just the message behind the movie, if I didn't personally like everything so much, yeah, I'm sure I would figure out more things to dislike about the movie, but I just don't have them. Because, when you watch a movie and you're like, I know there's probably things wrong with this movie, but it's my movie. Like, it's my type of movie. There's nothing I can see wrong with it, unless I were to really sit down, watch the whole thing, try to pick things apart. But why would I want to do that? That's not fun. It's such a good movie. Why would I want to do that? That's ridiculous. I'm not going to do that. But anyways, that's my thoughts on Superman. I am really glad that my prediction from the last video came true. I would have broken my heart if this movie was not good, but honestly, it was basically impossible for it not to be good. It was pretty incredible. Anyways, that's about it. Thanks for listening. Bye.